Hey guys, what is up? Tim here again for Droid Life, bringing you another video review. It's time for the Huawei Mate 9. Huawei is a company that US consumers have been getting very familiar with ever since launching the Nexus 6P in partnership with Google, and for very good reasons. Huawei delivers well-designed hardware coupled with premium specifications, and all for affordable pricing. The Mate 9 is no exception to that. It comes with a large 5.9-inch display, putting it in that phablet category, but it also comes with a super large 4000 mAh battery, as well as EMUI 5.0 on top of Android Nougat. There's a lot of differences between the previous version of EMUI that launched with Marshmallow and the one that comes with Nougat. So we're going to be covering quite a lot of stuff in this video, so let's get right into it. This is our Huawei Mate 9 review. Provided this is a flagship device, Huawei packed in a long list of high-end specifications. The Mate 9 features a 5.9-inch Full HD display, Kirin 960 octa-core processor, 4 gigs of RAM, an SD card slot for expandable storage, USB Type-C, a 4000 mAh battery, dual camera system with one 20 megapixel sensor and one 12 megapixel sensor, LED flash of course, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. I didn't have much experience with Huawei hardware before the Nexus 6P, but from what they have been delivering following that success, it's very safe to say that the company takes overall design and execution pretty seriously, with the Mate 9 being no exception. Featuring a very heavy metallic body, the phone is a beast in hand. The exact weight comes in at 190 grams, and to put that into perspective, the Pixel XL weighs 168 grams, and the Galaxy S7 from Samsung weighs 152 grams. Needless to say, the Mate 9 is heavy, and while that does help offer that premium feeling, you may notice it every time you take it in and out of your pocket. For those concerned with audio, the Mate 9 features a dual stereo speaker setup, with the speaker by the front-facing camera handling the upper highs, and the bottom-firing speaker handling the mids and low end. I wouldn't say it's the best execution of stereo speakers I've heard on a device, but considering hardly any phones launch with this feature these days, it has to be applauded. Considering how much music and YouTube videos I listen to on my phone, having them has been a real treat. If I had to compare this device's overall experience to another in terms of the hardware, it would probably be the Galaxy Note 7. Given that Samsung had to recall the Note 7 due to battery issues, the Mate 9 is actually a very good option for those who want that large screen device experience. Plus no skimping in the spec department. While the Note 7 does have a QHD display, I find that the Full HD IPS LED display looks and works just fine for, my everyday usage. Couple that with a large 4000 mAh battery, and it's a win-win for those who need a phone lasting them a couple of days without charging and that large display. As I mentioned, the Mate 9 comes with Huawei's dual camera system, the same setup we have seen on previous devices from the company. It's Leica branded, with one 20 megapixel sensor and one 12 megapixel sensor, capable of delivering that wide aperture experience most dual camera setup buyers might be after. Overall, the camera delivers really solid shots, really shining in the landscape department. While you won't find crazy stabilization like you will on the Pixel when you're shooting video, the Mate 9 is capable of shooting ultra high res with good color accuracy. One thing though, the sensors are extremely sensitive to light in my findings, meaning you sometimes need to find a good balance by using the built-in settings for the brightness. For the software, everything you might need is built right into the app, such as different filters that don't make your shots look like Instagram nightmares, as well as that wide aperture setting I previously mentioned. Depending on what I'm shooting, I can slide that aperture setting to create more of a focus on my subject, and it should be noted that Huawei suggests you only use it heavily on subjects within 2 meters of the camera, meaning not too far away. Placed in the somewhat corny section, the camera also has a built-in smile detector, which will snap a shot whenever a smile is detected in the shot. If you are attempting to, let's say, take a portrait of a moody teenager, good luck with the smile detector. With a 4000 mAh battery, Huawei advertises the Mate 9 is capable of delivering 2 days of charge, and from what I've seen in testing, they hit that claim pretty spot on. My average day is about 7 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. and during my time I was getting about 2 of those, sometimes just shy, almost every time. As someone who is used to just plugging in every night, it's kind of nice knowing that I don't need to worry about that, knowing my phone can get through another day if I forget to plug it in. While the battery certainly lasts a bit longer than other phones I use, The phone also has a feature called Supercharge, which is Huawei's fast charging technology. When using the provided cable and power adapter that comes in the box, the Mate 9 can grab a full day's charge in just 20 minutes, which is what Huawei advertises. And that's pretty mind-blowing if you think about how far quick charging technology has come over the years. If you saw my review on the Honor 8, you may be familiar with a few of the built-in software tweaks that Huawei throws in on top of Android. This is all part of the EMUI skin, but unlike the Honor 8, the Mate 9 launches with EMUI 5.0. With EMUI 5.0, there's a few changes to the overall look, maybe most importantly being the addition of a dedicated app drawer option. Yes, you heard me right, an actual app drawer. On top of that, the Mate 9 features the gesture app shortcuts, which allows you to draw a letter to open a specific application. For example, I can draw a C on the screen to open the camera, draw an E to open Chrome, and draw M to open Google Play Music. Not only that, but if I'm inside an application that supports it, I can draw a straight line horizontally, which will open a split screen mode. It's nice to take advantage of that large screen after all. EMUI 5.0 also brings a more standard Android experience in the notification pulldown. Instead of seeing a jumbled list of notifications, Huawei is using a straightforward approach to the UI, complete with system toggles and a brightness shader. Why any company would want to step away from that always baffles me, but props to Huawei for retooling its skin to deliver something Android users don't need to relearn in order to use properly. I always stress that when it comes to OEM skins. In my Honor 8 review, I sort of dogged on the software and skinned pretty hard, but with EMUI 5.0, a lot of my criticisms can be withdrawn. So I'm a very happy user, and there's no reason this skin would keep me away from the Mate 9. It's that nice. Earlier in this video, I brought up the size and weight of this phone. While one can say that it helps the phone feel premium, for me personally, I'd be much happier with a more compact, lightweight design. That's just my preference, and it's one that seems to change year to year. Sometimes I want a big phone, sometimes I want a light phone. In the case of the Mate 9 though, it's like super big. Somewhat surprisingly though, it's not all that hard to control with one hand, which actually makes me not completely hate the size. The point is, if you are a fan of small phones and don't want to venture over the 5.5-inch display area, probably best to check out something else. If you want that tank experience though, the Mate 9 is certainly calling your name. Provided you won't find this phone on any US carrier since it's exclusively sold unlocked, you will be looking solely to Huawei to keep you up to date in terms of the Android OS and security updates. While it's typically a good thing not to have carriers involved, as we have seen issues in the past when it comes to carriers deploying updates in a timely manner, we have to remain conscientious of Huawei's history of updating phones. Since the Mate 9 does launch with EMUI 5.0 on top of Nougat, there isn't an update you will be in need of immediately after picking it up. Say this phone launched with EMUI 4.1 on top of Marshmallow, it'd be a different story. You'd be begging for the Nougat update. Thankfully, that's not the case on the Mate 9. The Mate 9 can be purchased through pretty much all the major online retailers for $599. We're talking Amazon, Best Buy, Newegg, etc. If you compare that to other flagships, that's a very competitive price, especially when you think about the specs and features you were getting. I might even go so far as to say this is one of the best deals in smartphones today, considering the stereo speakers, 4,000 mAh battery, and the Leica branded dual camera setup. There's just no other phone like the Mate 9 on the market, especially one with a $599 price. If you think about more expensive phones, such as a Galaxy from Samsung or Pixel from Google, I can name a few things that make the Mate 9 a better buy. While the Pixel may have a slightly better camera and Galaxy phones have water resistance, the Mate 9 is a premium handset in its own right. It has the metal build, useful software tweaks, and battery that blows away the competition. At the end of the day, in my mind, the Mate 9 stands alongside those more expensive handsets any day of the week. To conclude, I have to say, if there are any ex-Galaxy Note 7 owners, I know you're sad because your phone got recalled, but I highly recommend the Mate 9 for you. It's got the large display that you're already used to, a larger battery than the Note 7, and the Android software experience is very similar to TouchWiz from Samsung. And, this is not to say that compact smartphone lovers can't also enjoy the Mate 9, it's just going to be sort of an uphill struggle or a battle at first getting used to that overly sized smartphone. For me personally, the Mate 9 is the perfect move for Huawei, especially in 2017. To me, it proves that they were listening to the consumer feedback that they received from EMUI 4.1 and then really made the changes that people were asking for with 5.0. As an Android user, you really can't ask for much else. That's going to do it for this one. We'll see you next time. Peace.